Semen retention awakens Kundalini energy, but you may not be able to handle it. Is there anything that stands in the way of our retaining more sperm? It's our untamed sexual appetite. Every time, it's our desperate need for relief that leads to the accidental release of our seed. It's what makes us spend so much time on activities like porn scrolling and masturbation, as well as the more traditional pursuit of sexual pleasure with other people, especially women. What, if anything, can help us overcome the libido and move forward along the road to retention? Ironically, it's also our sexual appetite. I find it hard to believe this. What stands in your way is the path, as Stoicism expert Ryan Holiday puts it. To be sure, conscious, focused self-evolution is the only genuine objective of retention, and the libido is the source of all the fuel for self-evolution. Although it is usually best to keep things as simple as possible, let's take the idea of libido and explore it further. Commonly, when people talk about their libido, they mean their sexual appetite. Perhaps the most well-known of all psychologists, Sigmund Freud, is also responsible for the term libido. It is the energy, seen as a quantitative magnitude, of those instincts which have to do with all that may be encompassed under the word love, as he put it. According to Wikipedia, he also explained that it is akin to hunger, the want to power, and so on, arguing that it is a fundamental urge that is intrinsic in all humans. Freud's follower and internationally renowned psychologist Carl Jung goes one step further, recognizing it as the entirety of psychic energy, not confining it to only sexual desire. It is the energy that manifests itself in the living process and is felt subjectively as striving and desire. In this context, it might be seen as a psychological drive for improvement and advancement. This yearning for success is usually limited to sexual gratification and material advancement at the expense of other human needs. In Indian yogic schools of thought, this totality of psychic energy, striving for and craving greater and more, is strikingly similar to the concept of Kundalini. No matter what kind of yoga you do or don't know about, the ultimate goal is the same: to reawaken the latent Kundalini energy at the base of the spine and guide it up the spine through each of the 7 chakras until it reaches and resides in the 7th and highest chakra. To arrive at this point is the ultimate aim of every religious or spiritual practice. Trust me when I say that even if enlightenment isn't your ultimate objective, you still want all that psychological and sexual power on your side. The vast majority of us have become spiritual zombies. Our Kundalini lies dormant, and our chakras remain in a sad state, operating at a bare minimum. The West as a whole is overweight, grumpy, stressed, exhausted, sluggish, and grumpy, and that's not even including the excessive masturbating that goes on here. How do you suppose our energetic/spiritual bodies look if we can't maintain our physical bodies, which we can all see and agree exist? Most people just do not accept the existence of supernatural phenomena. And as a brief aside, if the concepts of chakras and Kundalini put you off, just utilize them as metaphors. It doesn't matter if they do or don't. What matters is that we learn to channel, strengthen, and expand our sexual potential. If you follow the routines, success will come naturally. This latent yearning for greater and richer experiences, which some call libido, Kundalini, or psychic energy, sleeps. It's not entirely dormant, rather, it's barely functioning. All humans are born with libidinal drives. The vast majority of us are unable to channel that energy beyond the 2nd or 3rd chakra. Most of us can't seem to get out of the first 3 chakras and into a higher gear. The 1st chakra regulates basic needs, the 2nd, identity and sexual desire, and the 3rd, willpower, prestige, and social standing. Many of us never go past the first chakra, which involves a desire for more sex, status, and power for oneself, and this can be viewed as a metaphor for the first stage of life or level of maturity. That's logical, right? Obviously, staying alive is our first priority right now. Once we've settled in, most of us have our sights set on achieving professional success, expanding our social circle, and eventually settling down with a special someone. There are those of us who have no interest in settling down and who want to keep collecting women. It's not hard to see that sex, social standing, material possessions, and political power dominate our lives. One can think of the core channel and the chakras as a hose through which a strong current of water flows. Our aim is to have water pour freely from each of the hose's 7 possible outlets. Sadly, most of us never go past the second or third fork in the road, where the water is either non-existent or barely trickling. You can clearly see that there are obstructions in the path that the energy is meant to take. Those intersections are closed, or at best, only slightly open. Unfortunately, we rarely make decisions from a more enlightened state of mind, so only a small fraction of our energy ever makes it through the first 3 chakras and onto the crown chakra. Few of us ever think about anything outside myself, mine, and those individuals I can screw or use to benefit myself. It's a sad truth, but it's the truth nonetheless. Whether or not they believe in chakras, this is what the vast majority of people think about constantly. Because of this, the libido isn't something to be feared. It's the most potent resource for personal growth and the fulfillment of all of our goals. Most of us have a problem with our libidinal energy being stuck. Our passion is stuck between our cock and balls. Our libido can't leave, so we fixate on sexual fulfillment, expanding our conquest of females and amassing material possessions. Plus, the current energy output is a fraction of what it should be. On the other hand, things would be very different if the channels were cleaned, the connectors were opened, and the energy was enhanced. Increasing your libido may seem like a bad idea at first, but as you move forward on the path of retention, you'll actually want to do so, as doing so will allow you to finally shift your focus away from the lower centers that are only concerned with sex and egoic needs, and onto the higher centers where you can make some truly wonderful and rewarding progress in life. You shouldn't waste your sexual energy on things like porn and pointless masturbation. And what do you know? You still need to channel your libidinal energy if you want to succeed in life, rise in the social ranks, become sexually active, or find a romantic companion. There's nothing inherently wrong with these practices. The problem arises when people get stuck in them and never move on. Keep that in mind as you engage in semen retention. The goal of all of these techniques, even those that appear to have little bearing on increasing your sexual energy, is to stimulate your chakras and bring your libidinal Kundalini energy to its highest possible state of awakening. Everything here is geared at your conscious self-evolution. Its purpose is not limited to helping you become an enlightened being, but rather to realizing your full potential and fulfilling your deepest desires. That's it for today. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and also be subscribed to this channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.